Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Steve.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Steve, your picture went into a. There you go. And I'm not sure what happened to the. Oh, Mike is here. Hey, and Mike is here too.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well.
Mike.
Good morning.
Okay, and who else just joined us? I can't see down there.
Just the three of
Just
us
the
at
three
the
of us.
moment.
I'm sure they'll join in.
Yeah.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is made possible by VMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Let's see what I'm getting something here. Well, come on, Gal. He's saying good morning in the Skype group, but I guess he.
It's the rain that we're getting at the moment. It's putting everyone off.
Yeah.
What is your rainy season, Steve?
Well, normally from around now until about April showers and all that. So, yeah, normally end of August it starts. And September generally is the... They did say that September was going to be quite a nice month, but the end of August certainly doesn't look that great at the moment. It's been raining most days.
You know, we've only been over there the first quarter of the year, calendar year, and the whole of every time we've been there, we have been rained on one time.
All right.
Which makes no sense at all.
Well, generally speaking, we get about 3 weeks of really hot summer weather, not generally one week after another. Not like this summer was unique. But it rains periodically in between quite regularly.
So how was your weekend so far?
Awesome.
Mike, what are you doing
When?
this weekend?
Well, let's see. What am I doing this weekend? I had to do something Friday. I don't remember what it was. Yesterday, I played around in the shop most of the day. And today, as soon as I get off the air, I've got to go up to Hickory for the afternoon.
Ooh.
Other than that, nothing going on. Oh, and let's see. Thursday night, I had to go set up a podcasting studio. Tuesday night, I've got to go back and do some more work to it. Other than that, it's kind of quiet.
Well, quiet is good, as long as you've got little bits and pieces to keep you occupied, stop you getting bored.
You know, I'm setting up a woodworking shop in my garage, and the biggest challenge has been getting the crap out of it that was there from when we moved 2 years ago. And I'm having some success. It's just very, very slow. Got crap, I move out of the way. The problem, I've got a catch-22 because I'm building shelves to get crap off the floor, and I can't get room to build stuff till I get the crap off the floor.
Yeah, these things are sent to try us. Move it all outside, build your shelves, and then bring it all back in again.
Well, the problem is that it takes, for example, when you talk about letting glue dry, things like that, realistically, if you're going to build shelves, you want to let, this is my opinion, I overdo stuff, I get it. But if you're going to build shelves, you want to let it dry overnight.
Mm.
And there are things that you let dry overnight and then you have to add to it or trim it out or whatever you're going to do. So sometimes even the simplest projects can take several days, even though there's not that much work in it. But I'm because I'm in the learning phase, I'm in the humble learning phase. It might take me 30 minutes to set up one 30-second cut to get it right. And then even then it's not always right. So I'm trying to figure out some ways to make things easier and more predictable and more gooder. And I watch a guy on YouTube called Matthias Wandel. The guy's just a genius. I mean, there's no question about it. I've talked about him here before, but he's a woodworker. He doesn't have all the tools. He doesn't accept a lot of donations and free stuff and all that. Uh, I mean, you watch this guy, he's just so inventive and so creative and he comes up with such unique things. He even invents his own tools. He makes his own bandsaw out of wood, including all the gears. I mean, just Matthias Wandel on YouTube. Highly, highly recommend. Just pick something that looks interesting to you. And so you sit there with a challenge and say, well, there's got to be an easier way or a better way, or what's creative, or what can I use that's not normally used for this application? And that kind of puts the fun in it, other than just sawing boards and nailing them together. For me, anyway.
YouTube is amazing. When my father had a computer, I was finding all these links for woodworking and sort of do-it-yourself type stuff that people were doing, inventing, creating. And he had a whale of a time watching all these. And he had so many ideas from the different projects. Well, I'm going to make one of those, and that's a great idea. I think I'll do that. But unfortunately, he didn't stay with the computer. But for the time that he had it, we used to love watching the YouTube stuff.
Yeah, I think a computer can be a curse.
Oh, it
No,
can
it
be.
cannot.
It can be to him because he's got so frustrated he couldn't work it out. Hello, Gal, by the way.
Good morning.
Howdy.
Good morning, Gal.
Good
I will
morning.
say
Good morning.
that my administrative assistant, she lives alone, I guess, and her dryer went out. She went on YouTube, started doing some research, and she decided that it was the thermal fuse that had opened up. She ordered one, $6. It came in. She looked on YouTube to figure out how to open it up. She was a little scared to mess with it. She got the maintenance guy in the apartment complex to come by and help her with it. They changed it out, and now the dryer works.
Cool.
How old
So
is she?
46.
Say, people, yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've heard of people having problems with washing machines and with thermostats and things like that. I've looked on YouTube on what to do on this particular make and model, and the intricacy of some of the videos and descriptions that they give, people can do it. Just follow it. Just do exactly what they do on the video, and you think you save yourself a fortune on call-out charges.
That is a fact. But you know what's so bad about YouTube universally, it seems? I'd say 90% of the videos have bad audio.
Yes, that's true.
They will have beautiful, stellar 1920 by 1080 or whatever the next one down is, 720p. With beautiful edited video, transitions, opening. I mean, they'll have all that, and then it sounds like they're in a barrel when they're talking. They can't even bother to get a
Yeah.
microphone. Then there's this guy, Steve something, that woodworking for mere mortals on YouTube, and apparently these guys have decided to get boom mics. So they're using boom mics in these little tiny dinky shops, and it's not much better, if any better, than using the microphone on the camera.
The other thing that annoys me is that very often they're talking about something and describing something. Well, show us. You're talking about something that you've made or that you're doing and using, and the camera's on your face.
Mhm.
Show us what you're talking about
Even TV stations do that
all
because
the time.
if you have these camera operators or directors who are not woodworkers, for example, just since I'm talking about woodworking, and they'd say, "Well, we're going to put a 3/8 by or 1/4 dado in here." And if you don't know what a dado is, you don't know, say, okay, camera two, zoom in on the router and whatever. I mean, if you don't know it, you don't know it. I mean, you see the same thing with music videos. Whenever I'm a wannabe guitar player, so I like to watch to see how these guitar parts that I hear, Sweet Home Alabama, where is it played on the neck? What chord formation is using? Is he using an alternate tuning? As an example, you see a video whenever they're playing that, and they want to get to the guitar solo, the guitar lead, and you want them to zoom in on the left hand on the guitar. And they're sitting there showing the face of some idiot in the audience. Yeah, yeah, woo, woo.
It's for
Yeah, it drives me.
entertainment, Mike. It's for entertainment, not for
That's for them. That's for me. But
yeah.
the reason why is because the camera guy or the director doesn't play guitar. They don't have an appreciation for the guitar part, and so that's what you get.
It is very frustrating.
It's okay. He's still here. You
Yeah, the
see,
problem though,
look at him. He's still Mike is still here. Looks
you say,
good. Looks
Amnon, you don't understand. These bands aren't playing anymore. These guitar players are dying. So the stuff from the '60s, you look to see how they play it. There's a
Did you
guy called Shut Up and Play on YouTube who has made a career out of learning how to play guitar parts from old songs.
did you watch
I can tell you're really interested in what I'm saying.
well, no, you're talking about they're not playing anymore. Did you watch PBS yesterday?
Never.
They had like a 4 or 5 hours uh playing George Harrison's music, and
No.
Ringo was there, and
Ugh.
Paul McCartney was there, and there was a kid that was playing a guitar that looked just like George Harrison.
It was probably Donnie, his son.
I don't know. I mean, I looked and I'm saying, "What? That no, no, impossible." Yeah, no, it's not. It can't be. It was good. All kind of different singers that were joining. Eric Clapton was there, and it was an interesting concert.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there are good things out there. Let's not knock it. Like you said,
Oh,
they're not playing anymore, so anything we can get on anybody is good. And did you hear, Steve? Did you hear my goes ugh when I mentioned Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr?
I did hear that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yet he doesn't miss one of those concerts where they what's the other group that's playing the Beatles, Mike? The
What's
one
your story, Amnon? You tell it.
I don't remember. I don't know the name. What's the name of that band that's coming through here all the time, playing Beatles songs?
1964, the tribute.
Okay, the tribute. So
They happen to be friends of mine.
so that's why it's not because Beatles. It's
Well, I
because
like Beatles music. That doesn't mean that I like
the
the
people.
politics
Performers.
of the
Oh,
morons in the group.
well. Anyway, Steve,
Hmm.
the EU, the lights will dim gradually for halogen. Remaining stocks may still be sold, and capsules, linear and low voltage incandescents used in oven lights will be exempted. But a continent wide switchover to LEDs is underway that will slash emissions and energy bills and all that. But they're making it mandatory now.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So, do you have any incandescent lights anywhere in the house?
I've got one LED light which runs off at 240 volts. Lots of people in the UK have had their kitchens fitted out with 12-volt circuit for LED lighting.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the norm to do that now. But I don't. I live in a really old house, and it's about 120 years old. And it was rewired before I moved in over 20 years ago. But no, I mean, the thing that puts me off is the cost of the LED lights. They're quite expensive here in the UK. I've got these fluorocarbon, the sort of like fluorescent lights that are much low wattage. I've had a load of those, and they're all replaced with the original light bulbs. So I'm running it cheaper, but I bulk it paying £7 for an LED bulb.
Wow.
That seems to be about the average price for, say, a 60-watt equivalent. So, I mean, as and when the bulb goes, even though I've got the old-fashioned light bulbs still in the cupboard, I will buy the LEDs, but I just bulk it paying £7 for one. That's a lot of money. I know it's going to save me in the long run, but £7 quite a bit towards my, food bill every week.
Sheesh. Mike, which LEDs are you using? I mean, how much do you spend on LED bulbs these days?
Well, right now I don't spend anything because
Yeah.
I've converted everything to LED. But at the time, I was spending anywhere from probably during the major part of the conversion, maybe $3 to $7 to $8 per bulb. I probably spent $350, $400 on light bulbs, maybe more than that. And
Gal, how about
I can't find. I've got some incandescents in the house, but I can't find them.
Well, I know exactly where mine are if you need some, Mike.
I don't need any. In fact, I'm throwing the incandescents in the trash can. I detest being ordered by the government to do something. But in the case of LED bulbs, where the light is equivalent to incandescent and burns much less energy and at least lasts some longer, then I'm okay with it at an affordable price. So this is why Nick and I rail against government regulation on so many things. If you give people what they want, you don't need to require them to use it.
I mean, it just makes sense to use LEDs to save.
Because they are as good as or better than the incandescent bulb. I mean, if the government had required me to convert to CFLs, I would have taken some people out to educate them.
Morning, Nick.
Can you finally hear me?
You can.
Now you're saying something. Yes.
Yes, I had to do my weekly rollback of Windows 10 this morning because my sound cards didn't work. So
again,
have I heard anything from Nick?
What? Oh, what? Yeah, you can hear me. That's not funny.
Oh, come on, that's hilarious.
40 minutes of rolling back updates. I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. So now I turned on the under the network settings in Windows, I've set my network connection to metered, and apparently that's going to force. I'm not going to get any updates now, which I don't care. No more updates.
Eventually, you will.
I'm done.
Oh,
they can hack my computer, encrypt all my stuff. I'll be done. I won't have to use technology anymore. We'll be good to go. So, problem solved. And what a pain.
Well, you will have all these super duper pooper scooper sound cards.
I don't. These are just regular sound cards. They're regular USB $30 sound cards. I don't know why.
Oh, $30. That's no wonder, you cheapskate.
Oh, thank you. Frustrating.
Yeah, I agree.
I know what I have to do.
Mine's working.
Inevitably, I'm going to have to do a reinstall of Windows, which I don't really want to do, but that's going to be the solution to the problem.
I've still got a problem with mine, which was upgraded from 7. If I double click an icon on the desktop, it makes Windows Explorer restart. And then, of course, I lose all the icons in the tray, and the program doesn't start. All it does is just blink, and it restarts Explorer, and I've lost everything. So if you right-click and click Open, it works fine, but not if you double-click.
See, mine is the same thing. Mine is the actually, this was never Windows 7. This was Windows 8.1. It was 8.1 that was upgraded to 10. So it's never been a fresh install of 10.
Well, you got to bite the bullet and do it.
I just time. So that's a heavy process.
Much like I said to Amnon earlier, it's all the ancillary little services and little utility programs that you've got to install and configure. That's what takes the time.
That you don't even know that are running.
Nick, did you try?
Exactly.
Did you try to do away with the Behringer drivers?
Oh, I tried everything. Last time the last time this happened was about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I tried everything. I spent like 3 hours installing different drivers, different USB ports.
Have
I
you
could ne-
removed the old drivers
I've done
properly, though?
everything. Yes. Yep.
How?
Through
What
the
tools?
I used some. I did. I uninstalled them through Windows and then used some other third-party driver uninstall tool. I don't remember what it was called.
So the only thing I found working is a little nifty tool. It's free called Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. I'll have to try that.
Ghostbuster. Yeah. What it does, it goes to all the driver entries and wipes them out completely. So even after you uninstalled something, there's always an entry saying there was a driver here sometime.
Yeah.
And that wipes out everything, and you can clear out old USB drives that has been hooked up. Like, it cleans up everything, and after that, when you install a driver, it's a fresh install.
Well, now I'm tempted to try this again.
Yeah, not now. But
No.
what I was thinking, I was just thinking, every week you're getting the same updates. It's not like you're getting something different that may
And I'll
work.
tell you the reason I keep doing it is because this has happened 3 or 4 times, and they eventually put a hot fix out. They do something to the update that causes it to work.
Really?
I've never had. Yeah. This has happened plenty of times, but it seems like it's the initial update that I have a problem with, and whenever they roll out, what do they call those hot builds, hot fixes? They do something that's always fixed it. So I've always just been delayed by a couple weeks. I can do the update and everything's fine. So when I went to bed last night, my computer said shut down or it said shut down an update or restart an update. So okay, shut down an update.
Annoying. It did it to me as well on the when I came back at the beginning of the month. It took about 25 minutes before I eventually got to the point where now I can do what I want.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the software. When it says ghosted, that means you've got duplicate drivers?
So no, ghosted means it's not necessarily active.
Oh, because I've got 4 inactive drivers of the same kind.
Right. So what you need to do is, first of all, you need to unplug all the active ones as well, right?
Gotcha.
Remove everything, and then, especially because it's a USB driver, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, I would say just clear out the stale one and try just updating that. But
well,
Nick, if you want to do it now, it's fine. Go ahead.
No,
I mean, it'll be interesting.
I don't feel like dealing with it again. I've already wasted 45 minutes.
Well, good luck. I hope it works.
I will give it a try. Thanks for that. I use something else. I think Revo uninstaller's got a driver remover or something like that. I think I used that. I think it was Revo. Isn't Revo total uninstaller? I think whatever that program is.
I think the key here is what Gal just said. Unplug it, because if it sees it there, it may keep something. If it's not there, it may remove everything. Because
that's what I've done. Because when you delete inside of Windows, when I deleted the driver, it removes the device. So I unplugged both of the devices because it's 2 of them. Unplugged both of them.
Okay.
I tried 2 different USB ports, so Windows would try to reinstall the driver. It did, but it still didn't work. So we'll see. I'm not going to screw around with it this week because I've got a short week, but next week I'll play around with it because it's getting very annoying.
Get a Mac.
Well, I mean, we always have this conversation about finding some alternative, and I mean, it's just crap like that, the crap like this that you do. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
I know.
Trust.
It's not that I don't want the updates or I don't like a feature of the updates or there's something in the update that I wish was different. The damn thing doesn't work. I mean, it makes half my audio setup here useless.
Yeah, and it's always like, well, is it going to work after this? Is it going to work? Is it going to
Yeah.
work? The
Yeah,
anxiety also
yeah,
is.
and it's gonna happen is I'm gonna come home at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, an hour before infection, and none of my stuff's gonna work, and I'm gonna be scrambling to try to figure out how
Mhm.
to get
Mhm.
my audio to work, and
Yep.
I don't like that. It's unnecessary.
That's always the way when you need the computer to do something specific, it's not going to work for you. That always happens with me.
Yeah. So
If I was
that's
just going to turn it on and mess about, it would work fine every time.
yeah, exactly. So well, there you go.
So let's
That's
go.
just the way it goes.
So let's go back and Gal. So how many? I mean, what's the percentage of LEDs in your house?
I think everything.
Everything. Did you
Well, no,
go
not everything. I have some fluorescent lights
and
in
did you go from incandescent directly to LEDs, or you went the CFL route?
well, we're in this house 2 years, so when we came in, some of it was already LED, and but when I buy them, I buy the LEDs. The thing I find strange is everyone's looking for the 60-watt equivalent,
Mhm.
and we always feel it's like too dim. So the move to LED is nice because we still look for the 100-watt equivalent, but it's still really low. So
You mean usage?
yeah,
Usage is low or the brightness?
no, the brightness is exactly as we want, but
Okay. Yeah.
takes less energy. Right?
Yeah, the difference between 60
Yeah,
and 100 is not that much. That's right.
yeah.
Nick, how about you?
I've got actually I think everything besides the lights in the kitchen are LED. Those are those tube lights.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's Nick's, but here Duke Energy they give them for free.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what. The apartment management company probably 6 months ago came in and replaced the light bulbs in the bathrooms and in the ceiling fan in the bedroom with LED bulbs. I guess I don't know. Maybe they get a discount, even though they don't. Even
It's
though
subsidized.
but yeah,
Yeah.
but even though everybody pays for their own electricity, I don't know if they get some they have to get some advantage. There's no way they'd replace they'd put LED light bulbs in everybody's apartments for no reason. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a good company. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
a good company.
It's a possibility, but there's got to be some ulterior motive.
Our local authorities been replacing street lights all over the place with LEDs now. The lighting is much brighter and whiter than it used to be.
I replaced them slowly, but we went the CFL route some years ago, and at this point, I think everything is LED, and I don't know if it's because I'm cheap or because it just makes sense, but I don't buy the expensive LEDs.
Oh,
I
no.
buy the ones that are like at Costco or at Lowe's or Home Depot when they have like 8 for some like $5. I don't know, something like that.
I think I saw some in the dollar store. So
Yeah,
you
which is
might even
fine.
try there.
I had in the beginning, Mike, do you remember when Home Depot was selling the what are they? Those that are made in Durham. I forgot the name of it. The US made ones. Which were more expensive. And they didn't last. Yeah, now do you want to take it and take it back and get it exchanged? Most most of the ones, I mean, I can maybe about 3 or 4 of the bulbs that I that I'm using, that I have used other than these, uh, last, and there's no problem except one place where, I mean, it always sticks in my mind. There's in my office, there's one that's on all the time, never gets turned off, and somehow after about a few days, it starts to, you know how if a light bulb is like dims a little bit, like let's say you have the air conditioner come on and it dims and comes back,
Yeah.
you can see it, and especially from the corner of your eyes, you see it. And I thought, well, what is drawing so much? And I went and looked and turned off this air conditioner and this and all that. Turns out that it was actually the light bulb because it kept on doing it. And I put a CFL in its place and left it there for about 2, 3 weeks and had no problem. So I went and got a different kind of LED and stuck it in there. And after a couple of days, it started doing the same thing. I took it out and I still put a different one. And so far, it's been a couple of months and it's okay. So there is something, I don't know what it is. And remember, there with the CFLs and with the LEDs, they tell you that you're not supposed to burn them upside down because they have some circuitry in the base, and if you have it upside down, that circuitry absorbs all the heat that's coming off whatever is there. And this one is upside down. But again, if it lasts 2, 3 years, and then I have to replace it with another LED that costs 80 cents versus $5, that's fine. I still have quite a few years to go uh, before it costs more. And I know Mike was always saying that the cheap ones are worthless and all that. They work for me. The best.
I've got the Great Value. Walmart's brand
Yeah.
makes LED bulbs that are relatively inexpensive. That's what I have here.
Yeah.
They work.
And they work.
They weren't expensive. I
The-
want to say I got 4 of them for
The best conversion, and I was lucky with that particular fixture, was in the kitchen. We have a 4-tube 48-inch fluorescent. And yeah, John is saying in the chat, Cree, that's right. And Spence called me one day. He says, Amnon, over at Lowe's, they have LED 48-inch tubes. What was it? 16 of them for $15 or something like that. And normally those things are expensive. And they also don't work in every fixture. But I just replaced the ballast in this fixture to a new electronic one. Put it in there. It's too bright. It's way too bright. But you get used to it. I mean, when I replaced it, oof. But we got used to it. So that is really nice. We'll see how long they last. The price was right, and the light was right. So we'll see. But yeah, LEDs. Now outside on the pond, I have a halogen light. I guess it was if I was in the EU, I would be shunned. Right?
Well, you've got to keep the fish warm, haven't you?
Well, Britain's out of it, right?
Not yet.
Well-
It's we're getting there slowly, I think. But there's talk of another referendum, but I don't know. It's all up in the air at the moment.
Okay.
Is Mike not here?
On the phone, I think.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that story later. I want to hear this. What else is happening before I get
What's the
into all
question?
these
I
stories?
had a phone call. What's the question?
Oh, no question. I mean, I was gonna read this, which is not much to do with technology, but
Well, I'm going to take a moment here, Amnon. Hold on to that because that's
okay,
a
yeah,
really
that's
good
what I
friend
was
of
saying.
mine.
Go ahead, go ahead. I mean,
He's a really good friend of mine. They were last week ago, this week ago tomorrow, they were driving home for his company truck. He and his coworker and several people behind him were driving home. They crested the top of a hill, and a drunk driver crossed over the center line and hit this guy almost head on. He made it, but his passenger didn't.
oh, geez.
So, and
All
it
right,
and,
go
and it
go.
was just he said it was just boom, instant, no time, no thinking. And I said, that's the comment. I said that he sent me the pictures. He said, did you show them to your kids? And I said, no, this will never happen to them. If you don't believe it, just ask them.
Yeah,
And
right.
and it doesn't matter that you're a safe driver. The other guy's the one you have to worry about.
Yep.
So just stay alert. He was not speeding, wasn't texting, wasn't drinking, doesn't do drugs. So
Mm.
I mean, he was doing everything right, and he tried to avoid to hit the other guy, and the guy, by the way, had already the other guy was drunk, and he had a DUI back in January.
Did he have a license?
I don't know. He doesn't know any of the details. He said he never saw him.
Mm.
He tried to talk to his passenger, and he couldn't talk to him. And finally, it took him 20 minutes to get him extricated from the truck. When they did, they took him to the hospital, and he made it to the hospital. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't revive him. They think he had a blood clot, but he was in bad shape. So anyway, that's a
All
Debbie
right.
Downer for the day. Now, what was your comment?
All right, so this is amazing. According to a new poll from Gallup, young Americans are souring on capitalism. Less than half, 45%, view capitalism positively. This represents a 12-point decline in young adults' positive views of capitalism in just the past 2 years, and a marked shift since 2010, when 68% viewed it positively. And they note that young Americans, as those age 18 and 29, are the ones that they were talking about. Meanwhile, 51% of young people are positive about socialism. This age group view of socialism have fluctuated somewhat from year to year, but the 51% with a positive view today is the same as 2010. I'm
Well,
the what?
are they talking about the word or about the concept? Because I
The
don't think
cons.
18 years
Well,
old are even they even understand what's behind the
Yeah,
word.
I was
well,
going to say the same thing. What it would be about asking them, what is your opinion on existentialism?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
see, and that's the thing. That's what I was reading reading it, and I was saying, what kind of people don't believe in capitalism?
A lot.
But
No. I mean,
hold
but what kind of people?
on. Hold on, that's
Look.
true. That Gallup poll, what was the number? 42% don't.
45 don't.
That I absolutely believe that. I'm surprised that number isn't higher. I'm being dead serious. There is a very popular group of people on the internet that call themselves late stage capitalists.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is a joke about how terrible and how awful capitalism is. Oh,
But I want to
big
know.
business makes money. Late stage capitalism. Look at.
But I want to know, how do they live? Where do they get their check
American
from?
capitalism. They live in American work from private industry. And they're idiots.
It's just amazing. It is
Well, look,
just
it's not complicated.
okay.
If these morons, if you'd ask them what socialism means, they would answer free stuff. Who doesn't want free stuff? They are too stupid to realize, particularly at their ages, that all this socialism they vote into place, they're going to end up paying for it down the road. It's going to come out of their paychecks.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They don't see
And they
that.
have to get a check from somewhere.
I know, but see that's like when people say, "Well, the government paid for it." No, they didn't. The government doesn't have money. The government takes our money.
Right.
That's our money.
And I was looking and I said, yeah, I need to talk, I
Look,
need to
here's the
read
problem.
this for
If you want to get
Mike's.
into a debate over socialism versus capitalism, there
Well,
are problems with capitalism. There's corruption, there's greed, all the things they accuse capitalism of having are true. The big corporations are doing this. I mean, look at what Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are doing to conservatives to try to control speech in this country. That's unconstitutional for the government to do it, but to some extent, private entities can do that. So, yeah, there are problems with big corporations in capitalistic environments. But what these morons don't realize is that these same problems exist in socialism, and they're much worse because all that power is devolved to the government.
because the
Well,
government has to take a lot more.
Well, yeah, they have a largesse and an inefficiency that
Yep.
capitalism doesn't have as badly.
Gal,
I
you
did-
were going to say?
well, yeah. I mean, that was literally a clickbait article. I'm looking at the Gallup
Yeah.
report. A single question, which states this way: just off the top of your head, would you say you have a positive or negative image of each of the following? How about? And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different topics: small business, entrepreneurs, free enterprise, capitalism, big business, the federal government, and socialism. That was the question. That's the survey. It means nothing. It's a phone survey done. I don't know. It's like
I think
But-
it still means something because there is absolutely a growing majority of young people that find a negative connotation with the word and the phrase capitalism, yet they live in a capitalist society and reap the
exactly. It's with
benefits
the
of it.
word. It's not with understanding
well,
what
yeah, but-
capitalism is. That's
But
the
I,
thing.
but I'll just I'll say this to make the fact if it doesn't matter if it's the word if they're willing to say they dislike capitalism and try to change and vote policy that is anti-capitalism, they hate it, even though they don't hate they reap the benefits. They sit here with their iPhone and say, "Oh, capitalism is awful." Oh, really? Because the reason we're sitting here and talking on a Google Plus Hangout in
It's
28
because of
years because
capitalism.
of capitalism.
Yeah.
The reason I was up until 3:00 playing Dungeons and Dragons online with people from all over the world is capitalism. So even though they hate the word, the term, which God, you're absolutely right. It is it's the word. It doesn't matter because because they hate the word, they hate the concept. Even though they don't get the concept.
But I also look at it this way. Young people always gravitate toward socialism and that part of the thing because they still don't have a job. They're in school. I mean, I even look at myself back when I voted for the first time in Israel. And guess what I voted?
Socialism.
Communism.
Oh my God.
There was no socialist party, but there was a communist party. And I'm saying, and I'm thinking about it today. I'm saying, why did I do it? And it was always peer
It was
pressure.
different.
You hear,
Counterculture.
I mean, it didn't mean anything. When I'm thinking about today, I said, why did I do it? Because my father was like the equivalent of conservative. So it's almost like you rebel. And when you think about it, I said, why did I even do it? Did I know what I was doing? No, I did not know what I was doing. But it was fashionable. It was the thing to do. And I think that a lot of people here are also, now we have the problem in schools and all that they teach them about this and they don't teach them about the other side. They teach them about socialism. They teach them about, and a lot of people that are in school, they're getting the money, they're getting the food. They don't need most of them don't need a job. So of course they can say that, but let them get out there and work. And now it is a whole different story. And you get a family and it even changes more. So I think it was Mike over here or somebody was saying, if it was true that the schools here are churning out socialists in that kind of numbers, then at this time that's what we would have here, because all these millions of kids that are graduating, if they are socialists, then everything will be socialism. But they go out there and they realize what life is, and oh well, that's not what we were told. It's completely different now, and they change.
Interesting.
So, Mike, was it you that said that the kids
Well,
that come out of school, they come out socialists or communists or whatever, but they
Yeah, well,
change pretty quick.
if you want to learn woodworking, you go to a woodworking school, right? If you
Yeah,
want to learn to be an auto mechanic, you go to an auto mechanic school, right?
yeah.
What do you learn in a government school?
Spend, and ask for a budget.
And government is inherently socialist.
Yep. Yep. It's true. So it is a form of, yeah, agreed.
Where is Al in Canada?
Alan is Canada, yeah.
Yeah. He said, if you can't read in chat, he said, what political system gets most of the attention in school curricula here? Here it is so biased towards liberalism, socialism, and communism.
Yeah.
I went to college at a place nicknamed Red University. Well, it's the same here. It's just not as extreme. You guys have had socialized medicine a lot longer than we have, and as a result, that's the socializing medicine is the first step towards socialism.
He went to university called Red University.
And like John says, this is the old saying, if you're not a liberal by the time you're 18, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative by the time you're 35, you have no brain.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really turns out that way. And I don't think we would hear so much about liberals and socialism and all this today if Trump wasn't up there and there was either Hillary or what's his name?
Social media, though, you've got to attribute a
Right.
lot of this to social media.
No. I mean, if the economy was taking a lot of money from these people, which, to give them free this and free that, you have to take more taxes. People would be rebelling today against it.
I don't think so. But it's all these little groups, and I'm not saying this is a little group, but all of these groups are all amplified because of the internet too. That's always something to look at.
It's what Reagan called the great silent majority. Those of us who are inherently conservative mind our own business and don't go out protesting and wearing pussy hats.
All right. Next, Amazon
My favorite.
just got yet another competitor in the ebook and audiobook space. Guess who?
Oh, I read this article, so I'll be quiet.
Walmart.
Damn it! You stole it. That's what I was gonna say. Walmart. They own Jet.com. They can do anything now.
Walmart launched its very own digital bookstore last Wednesday, selling ebooks as well as audiobooks through its website and dedicated apps. So now you can go to Walmart and get an ebook.
What's the name of the service?
They don't mention it.
I want to be Amazon.com.
I think it's Kobo, which exists for a long time.
It's called what?
Kobo, Kobo.
Kobo.
Kobo?
Yep, it's been around for a while.
Walmart ebooks by. No, this looks like it's by somebody else. I wonder how their price compares to Amazon. Amazon's ebooks are outrageous.
I don't know.
No, not
always-
outrageous.
I think so.
Which, I mean,
Compared to the
textbooks are still.
No,
very
I'm not talking about textbooks. We've looked at this in the past. You can get a paper or a hard copy of a book for $12, $14, $15, and the ebook will be $25.
That's rare. Usually it's less than
Oh,
10.
I don't know. I don't know how rare that is. I don't have it. I've looked
I
to
have
buy
a
a couple.
Kindle, so I've
I
Don't
thought
you? Do you get
I thought
discounts on Kindle though?
you what?
no,
Hmm.
I'm not subscribed to anything because I read very, very rarely. But when I want to buy something, it's not too expensive. Never dealt with a problem like that.
Hmm.
Never saw it.
I thought the ebooks were always like below $5, $10.
They're not. Not
Hmm.
always. I remember when
Interesting.
Jordan Peterson's most recent book came out. I'm looking now. The price has gone down, but originally the price was over. It was over the hardcover copy of the book was $16 or $15, and the Kindle version, the ebook version, was over 20. Which
That makes no sense. I
I couldn't
agree.
wrap my head around. No, I couldn't wrap my head around this. You could just ship me a piece of paper for a
Yeah.
quarter of the price of the other one. So
All right. So we were talking about apps and Play Store and all this. Netflix, there's another side to all these places that host apps. And look at this. Netflix is testing a way for users to register and pay for the streaming service while bypassing Apple's App Store and the hefty commission fees. So apparently there's a lot of commission fees that Apple is taking from them.
Oh, yeah.
Market Watch reports that sorry, Gal, what?
No, yeah, we talked about it when in regards to Fortnite, the game.
Yeah. So it says
30%, isn't it?
a what?
30%, I think I read.
They're not mentioning it here. I didn't read it completely. But it says that Netflix is looking into a new sign-up approach where users in some countries are no longer able to register for streaming services. They are being redirected to the mobile web version of the app and asked to enter payment detail with Netflix directly. The test is running in 33 countries, not including the US, through the month of September, according to TechCrunch. This comes just months after Netflix in May made billing through Google Pay unavailable to new customers. Though current subscribers that pay via Google Play can continue to do so until they cancel their account. And I mean, if you're paying through Google Pay or if you're paying through Apple Pay, whatever, there should be some fees like any other credit card. But
this is on top of the credit card.
yeah,
fees.
that is amazing. I never thought about this.
But
And
this is all of the payment services out there for mobile, like the small stores where they use the Square.
yeah,
So Square takes a commission.
yeah, but not that much.
Don't be quick to judge. It's high. All of them are high. PayPal, I think it's around 8%, and everyone is like either trying to be as like PayPal is the lowest that you'll see or something like that. It's ridiculous.
That's interesting. I mean, when I use, I mean, what I have a PayPal debit card, which I can pay with the money that is in the PayPal account when people pay me. At that point, you don't pay anything.
Right, because you're using PayPal as your bank account.
Yeah,
Sort of, right? Yeah.
for that card, yeah, it's a debit card, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But the thing that I was driving toward with this article is I really think that like Netflix starting something like this and trying to bypass uh the Apple's App Store. We need to get to a point where people, I mean, look, when you buy a piece of software, you go to the manufacturer, the company, and you download it from there. Anything you do with a with a product that a company is selling you, you go to their website and you get it from there. Of course, you can go to Amazon and you can go different places, but you can always go to the manufacturer and buy it from there. Why can't we do the same thing with apps? Why
can.
do we have to rely on the App Store and Google Store and all that to get an app for a service? A service here being, let's say, Gab, which is, or even Alex Jones, or, and I'm sure there are others that you cannot, that they don't want to give it to you there. And people are used to go and get it from there. And it's almost like, oh, I'm not going to go to his website and download it because it may be filled with viruses. No, it won't.
But that's exactly what they're doing. The different stores, they're selling security by monopolizing the options, right? Apple, if I'm not mistaken, and Google followed suit a few years after that, is they started forcing the apps to so that payment will be only through their systems and not outside. At first, it was because it was a lot more convenient to the software publishers,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right. But you're right. It is extremely expensive to them, and when they're doing it alternatively with other payment options, other payment gates, then it's much less. And that's what we talked about. I think it was last week, right? About Fortnite and how they're bypassing PlayStation, they're bypassing Microsoft, they're bypassing Apple and Google with the mobile apps now. So yeah, that's the interesting thing. The first thing Apple did when they came up with the iPhone and their App Store, right, is everybody were trying to jailbreak. Why did it try to jailbreak that? Because their app store is controlled by their guidelines, and they don't allow customization to the phone, right? That nobody could do anything. I mean, they didn't have copy paste, for Christ's sake, right? That it was it was a very limited system, and people were creative enough to create solutions, but Apple didn't want to hear about those. With Google, it's a bit easier. You don't need to jailbreak. All you need to do is just tell it to accept outside resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still rooting and stuff that is required for some really deep system-wide things, but the OS is evolving enough to allow these customizations without rooting, just with permissions and strict provisioning of permissions. It's getting better every time.
So
Something I didn't see in the Apple platform.
So in other words, Apple is using their own iOS in order to force the app writers, the companies that are trying to sell the app, to use their system.
Right. And not only that, is they're telling their users, right, beware,
Yeah.
If you're doing it outside, right, you're breaking warranty. We won't even look your way, right? We don't
Mhm.
want to know. It's like you're on your own, and that scare tactic costs the software publisher,
Yeah.
and they want to do it on desktop as well. Because as far as I understand, on Apple, it is much more popular today on the Macs, right? On buying through their store than installing with I don't know, a CD that you bought or something that you download from the
Mhm.
internet. It's getting less and less common to just download something and run it. Windows wants a piece as well, right? The Windows Store. It's exactly that. And trust me, when they said last week we talked about it, they said Windows is going to become a service. That means that at one point, the only way of installing something, unless you break something intentionally, right, is going to be through the store. And that means more control about how your operating system is working. I understand why the OS producer would want it, right? It doesn't mean it's good for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just like to see more options there for people that those big tech could not control who gets out there and who does not get out there. And it's really just two companies that control everything. Now, if there
Uh,
were 2 or 3 stores for iOS and a couple of stores for Android, that will then it will bring competition. The prices will drop. People will still be able to go. It's like today. You can go to Walmart, or you can go to Amazon, and there's a lot of the manufacturers are selling to both. I want to lower my price, so the other one is lowering prices. And this is competition. And if Walmart doesn't want to carry something anymore, you can always go to the other store and buy it over there. Here, the minute they decide, oh, we're not going to carry that anymore, you're stuck. That's it. It's like there's one store in town.
yeah, and well, I mean, in all fairness, in iOS, there's only one store that can work and stay compliant with everything that Apple gives you.
Right.
With Android, it's a bit better. You need to enable
Yeah.
unknown resources, but you do have multiple stores out there that provide different types of services, and you can install the most I think the most widespread one is it's called FSpot, I think, and it's completely open source, and it is for open source software.
Alan is saying that the
Non-install.
Windows store is horrible.
Oh, it's
I don't know.
terrible. It is. I have not yet. I have yet to find a single piece of application there that I cannot find outside of the store and that will work better than what the store provides, right? So there's nothing good about the store. Nothing. I mean, let's put it this way: even Microsoft Office, right,
Mhm, mhm.
doesn't come through the store.
Where does it come through?
You download some piece of software that runs and it runs the installer, and you register through Office 365 or whatever, right?
Okay, but what about
But-
other software?
I bought something through the store. I had to. I bought an app called Radar Scope, which is a weather radar app, and it is only available on Windows 10 through the Windows App Store.
Who wrote it?
It's,
And
Radar Scope, the company that
so you couldn't go to their website and download.
no, it was on. It only brought it to Windows within the last couple of months, and it's a Windows 10 store item. So I had to
Interesting.
add a. I think I already had I have a Microsoft account, which is a Gmail. They allow you to create an account with a other email address. So I had to add a debit card to my account to pay for it, and I mean, It worked fine. It was seamless. It's
But let's ask this: you can find other weather apps, right?
oh yeah, I've got other
And
ones that I paid for too, but this one I specifically wanted was only available in the Microsoft Store. Yeah.
that's the choice of the application
Yeah.
producer.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you this: this has been a Mac application for years, so they're already kind of in the publish it to a
Ecosystem, kinda.
store ecosystem. So
Yeah.
I get why they did it. I guess it makes a little more sense for them. They don't have to deal with downloads and updates and all that stuff. That I guess I would assume Microsoft handles all of that, like Steam. So I get it. I guess they're in that ecosystem, but
Oh.
interesting.
Something should happen somehow to take control out of
Well,
these big stores. I
we're
don't know.
talking about the same companies, right? I mean, with Microsoft, I've never heard of anything like that happening to Apple. But with Microsoft, we're talking about the company who got sued, right, by the government because they were bundling Internet Explorer and
Yeah.
Media Player, right?
Yeah.
But it has become common to keep on doing bundling of services and forcing only one option and not being sued. So they'll continue until somebody stops them.
No.
They'll continue to amass as much power as they can
As they can.
until
Right.
somebody says stop, right? And at this point, it needs to be like something like a huge lawsuit that would actually stop them. But it doesn't seem like anyone is really interested in doing that. So
Well, 919-518-9773, Computers 2K voice on Skype. Call us. Let's talk.
I have questions about PayPal.
Yeah.
I placed an order on August 8th. The company through PayPal did a temporary hold on that amount of money,
Right.
minus the amount. 3 days later, temporary hold plus the amount.
Huh?
It looks to me like they released the hold.
sounds like they refunded you.
I don't understand this temporary hold stuff. What's the difference between temporary hold and taking the money?
They may. I mean, if you have $1,000 in your account, in your credit account, and you go and you buy something for $900, and then you go to another store and buy something for another $900, and then to another store. Now you need 3,000. You don't have it. You don't have that much. So what they
What's
do
the difference
is,
between putting the hold on there and taking it out versus?
well, they cannot take it out until, I mean, by law, they cannot take the money until they ship. It's not like I'm paying you and a month later you're going to ship. No, you used my money for a month. You did not give me anything for it. So when they hold it, they put a hold and they say, okay, this person spent $900 here. We didn't take it out. We're going to take it out when we ship. And then when they ship, they take the money. It's I think it's with every credit card.
I wonder how I have, so I guess I can't put it in contest at PayPal if they haven't taken the money out. But how do I stop the authorization? I ordered something, the company hasn't shipped it.
The only thing that you can do is you have to cancel the order.
Well, I'm doing that. But
Yeah, then that's automatically will take the hold out.
Well, we'll see. It's not an insignificant sum of money.
Yeah, so did that answer?
We'll see.
Okay. So listen to this now. Last week, it was reported that Chrome has started displaying alerts more often that suggest users remove programs that are considered incompatible applications with Chrome because they inject code into the browser's processes. Makes sense.
It's funny because I would say that's about 10% of the websites out there, because I keep having trouble with Chrome not loading. I have to go in and delete all the cookies, go back to the website and load it again. I'm about ready to switch to Firefox.
Well, I mean, this is the browser. This is not the website. These alerts are displayed by Chrome after the browser crashes and suggests the user remove the listed programs because, quote, this application could prevent Chrome from working properly, end quote. Now comes the interesting part. One of the programs that a lot of users have seen listed in these alerts and is suggested to be removed is the BitDefender antivirus program that people download and use as an antivirus. Having a well-known company like Google telling users to remove a security solution is a problem, as these programs are important for many users to have installed on their computers in order to protect them from malware, unwanted programs, and malicious websites. Due to these alerts and their suggestion to remove the antivirus software, a senior e-threat analyst with BitDefender has told Bleeping Computers that as of August 20th, BitDefender is no longer monitoring Chrome version 66 and later with their anti-exploit technology. So if you're using Chrome 66 or newer, when you are on the website, you are not protected by BitDefender. And BitDefender is a good antivirus. I mean, it's one of the older ones. But you are not protected. They stop the protection when you are using Chrome. I mean, they protect you all around with everything on the computer, except if you go to Chrome and you're on a website that has malware, it's not going to let you know that you have a problem. That is, in my book, this is enough to switch browsers. Right there. I mean, you probably paid for BitDefender. Why should you take it out? And why should it not protect you on the web? Your only choice left here is switch. And Firefox it is. This is what's amazing. That, I mean, why couldn't Google, in their infinite wisdom, right, fix that problem instead of just telling people remove it?
So I don't think this is about the technology behind these messages, right? All that's happening here is there's a crash, right? Sounds like
Yeah.
Google is crashing more,
Right.
from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
The Google Chrome is crashing more, and all it's doing, it's listing the applications that are hooked up into the same process.
Right.
In this case, an antivirus will probably almost be listed there. If you have an antivirus running, right, that process hooks up to any process that's running. So what needs to be done here is, I think, educate people. Is if you have a security software, there is a chance that any other application is going to complain about the security software. That's not something that you should remove just because the application complains. It means the application is failing while we're running, but because something isn't done correctly. Because we're running this our security software with thousands of other applications. This is
Right.
the only application that is complaining about us.
Exactly.
Right. So it's just about education. The fact that it's happening the way it's happening I agree. Google should add to the same message. You should remove this. Is because we noticed it. But note, if one of them is a security application, don't do that. And that's all. That's all that needs to happen.
That's all they need to do. Absolutely.
I agree. All they need to do is just add to that message everything there except your security applications.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And it's not like there are hundreds of antivirus programs that people are using. There's a few, and they can put a list in their thing and says if it's one of those, hey, relax, it's okay. I mean, a lot of people know. A lot of times when you're installing software, they tell you turn off your virus scanner while you're doing this,
right?
Because there could be a problem. So you go and you pause it for 10 minutes and you install, and it's back on.
Right.
Sure. Those companies could have left it the way it was, not tell people anything, and you could never install your program. So you would go to another program. But no, they educated the user. They told them, hey, you need to do this, and you're right. It's education. But you also have to make sure that your product, I mean, imagine you're driving a car, and whenever you hit a pothole, the car stops. It just goes to the right and stops there. It won't go anymore. But all the other cars just keep going. Oh, yeah, we got a pothole. Okay, we passed that, and they keep on going. Are you going to keep that car that stops every time? No. Next. Oh, boy. Let's see what else we have here.
What is it with online vendors that when you buy something from them, they think they've got the right to email you sales stuff twice a day?
Oh, you said that it's okay.
I mean,
if you
forget
remember,
the legality part. I'm talking about the practical part. I mean, if I wanted to receive that much email, I'd just leave their website open.
That's
and
the problem.
refresh once an hour.
Yeah, that is the problem between opt-in and opt-out. They
Well,
opt you in by default, and you have to opt out, which is, I thought it was made. I thought that the court decided that everything has to be opt-in. You can't.
well, that's GDPR and so forth. But my point is that just let's talk about it from a customer service
Mhm.
perspective.
It's ridiculous.
Do you really think I want to receive two? I've already received 2 sales emails today from a company that I bought from twice.
Yeah.
And even Best Buy was doing that crap. I had to go in and unsubscribe to some of these things.
Yep.
I don't mind reading a couple a week, but a couple a day. I mean, I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah.
I just don't
Nobody said you
understand
need
what
to
these
read
people
all
think.
your
Maybe it
email.
works.
No, I mean, I think because of social media, it has become the norm of not expecting everyone to read their email every day, all of their email every day. And people use their email today a lot like they're using social media. They just catch up on what's latest. And it's terrible because some of the mail that comes is important, right? Is stuff that you do not want. It's not a stream of consciousness. It is a mailbox. But these companies, they treat email as a stream of consciousness, and that's terrible.
Mike, you buy stuff at Home Depot, right?
If I miss a day over there, they send out a posse.
I get about 4 or 5 Home Depot messages every morning, guaranteed. I mean, like clockwork. Not all
Do
at
you
the
have
same
multiple
time.
accounts?
Within, there'll be 1 or 2 when I get up, and then by 9 o'clock there'll be 3 more, all different from each other. And I'm saying, what for? This is not stuff that I'm interested in.
But yeah, I believe you can change your preferences because this one that I logged into just now, I went to the unsubscribe and it says change your preferences. I clicked on it and there's some block that says click here to receive fewer emails.
Oh, okay. I'll try that.
I
I mean, it
clicked on it.
didn't.
Now we'll see how it goes. I don't mind receiving 2 or 3 a week because I'm interested in the products they sell. I've spent quite a bit of time this past week going through their paper catalog. When I place another order, there are several things that I've seen in the catalog I'm going to order, neat little devices and gimmicks. But I mean, when you go from the point of me being an enthusiastic customer to, oh my gosh, can't stand another email from you guys, you're going to cover up something. To me, that seems counterproductive. Now, maybe this,
It is counterproductive. I agree with you 100%. It is. Definitely is.
so Nick's a buzz chaser,
A what chaser?
a buzz chaser.
Buzz.
Yep.
Okay.
Radio station. He was listening to the radio station and it had a buzz in it. Just RF noise.
Oh, Nick, I still don't understand that picture you put there.
We need to post that picture of Nick's fix.
Yeah. Where's Nick? Just not talking?
He's ignoring us.
Hmm.
He's probably listening to Alex Jones.
And
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm working on a video project. Sorry.
Okay. Mike was saying something about you're a buzz chaser. And
yes.
I still don't understand that picture that you put.
No, neither do I. That's it takes
Oh, okay. So it was just
no. It was a very very. It wasn't complicated or convoluted. It's just a very. We've got some equipment in close proximity to 2 AM transmitters, and from time to time we run into some issues with some interference bleeding into our chain because of that, and that something had changed at that location in the past couple days, and
that's supposed to change their, what did you call it with the antenna, when the direction and what
this is totally unrelated to that. This is the fact of being in the same building and being right next to AM transmitters caused some bleed from one of those stations, and it was very convoluted.
There's one way to take care of that.
Yeah, just turn the transmitters off. I contemplated that.
Yeah.
I didn't tell Mike that, but that's if I couldn't get anything to work, Mike, that's what I was just gonna throw those switches on the front of those AM transmitters.
Yeah, well, that'll help.
I don't know what happened. They turned off.
Check your email him on. You can post the picture that Nick sent us how he fixed it.
Oh, I can show it. Can I?
Yeah.
Hold on.
You can turn them off and not get in trouble.
If they're daytime, it's nighttime and they're daytime station.
No. You can turn a transmitter off and not get in trouble. Just make sure that it's yours that you're turning off.
Well, that doesn't help anything.
I don't know. I don't want to turn mine off.
There's no more buzz.
Then I get in trouble.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I looked at that picture and I'm saying, what did they?
Well, it looks much worse than it really is. It looks much worse than it really is.
This is Nick's fix. Oh, I shouldn't have talked. Now you got to
Wait,
talk again.
let me.
So
hold it.
Can you click on my picture? So
Yes, I did.
So this looks like I'm taping a wire to a case. That is there to hold the cable in place. That itself is not actually doing anything. What is actually doing something here is, if you notice these, hold on a second, let me get my little pen tool. If you notice this, oh God, what was that?
The red and black.
God, what's going on with my mouse here? It's like all choppy. Okay.
Yeah.
If you notice that there's a shield, a ground cable, shield cable, that is that connector there unscrews. It screws back.
Mhm.
So I've got the ground of that screwed into that connector, and then the other end of that is attached to a grounding screw on a piece of equipment, and that got rid of my little interference.
So why? So
that tape is literally there just to hold the cable in place so it doesn't move. So if somebody moves a box, it doesn't yank the cable off the desk. And
Interesting. Did it work?
it did. It was the only thing I could do to fix it. I was out there for it was over 2 hours. It's the only thing I could do to get rid of it.
And what is that surface that it's taped to?
It's taped to a satellite receiver.
Interesting.
Nick says the tape is not doing anything,
It's
but
not.
actually it is.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
it's grounding the metal shell to the case of the
Yeah.
receiver.
That didn't really make a difference either
It
way.
may not make a difference, but it is doing something.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I
Doing
was.
something. but
That's
it
what I
didn't-
was wondering. Why you couldn't just take the wire and connect it to a screw somewhere on that?
That's what I did, but it
Grounding
is-
doesn't work that way. It has to be the right screw or the right piece of metal. It's one of those things that once you engineer it, once you find the exact solution, I mean, this is the one that worked in a hurry. And once he finds the exact solution, you look back at it and say, "Oh, I see now."
and now I understand why it was doing.
It's interesting to say the least.
But obviously, this is a temporary thing. This would not be something that you would.
No,
leave
this is a
full-time
Roger
service.
fix.
This is not something that you would leave in service full time, and
Roger
I'm
would.
not. Well, that's fine.
If it
I'm
works,
not.
why not?
Well, because
Amnon would.
yeah, exactly. I'm not would, and then I'd have to come in and try to figure out what in the hell's going on. And
Would
I
you
look at
rather?
this-
Would you rather fight with the other?
Yes, absolutely. To get it fixed. I mean, see, this is the problem in radio: is you got all these moron engineers that do garbage like this, and then my stupid ass has got to come in and figure out what the hell's going on.
No.
So I mean, somebody walks in the door and they look at that and say, "What is this crap?" And they reach over there, snatch the tape off,
Yeah.
throw it over on the side, and now all of a sudden the station's got RF in it.
Yeah, exactly. This was a very temporary solution on Friday just to get everything back to where it's supposed to. And we believe the issue ensued because a computer across the room was taken out of service and may have changed the grounding property of the building and how the electrical circuit in the building was flowing.
Well,
all-
as to how it interfaced with the equipment.
How
It
it
didn't
interface-
change
That was the
the
only. I talked to the person that removed it, and he said, "Yep, I unplugged the computer, I grabbed the CPU, and I walked out the door, and I saw where the computer was taken from. It was nowhere near any of this equipment."
Right, but it still could change the grounding scheme of the equipment as
And
it's installed
And it did
if
because
if something was grounded through that computer, for example.
yeah, and we believe that was the cause because it didn't happen until that
Which
computer was
never should have been the cause, but when you don't have control over all of the aspects of the building, you do the best you can.
So there you go.
Well,
that was my Friday afternoon.
Nick,
Morning.
I had it. I don't know. It's probably not RF, but I had the same kind of problem with my surveillance system here.
Okay.
12 cameras, 12 different power supplies that are connected to the cameras, plugged into the same source.
Okay.
And two of the cameras always made they had noise on them. It's like lines across. And the only way that I could fix it is to take ground from the computer case that all these cameras are going into to the negative side of the plug, the power plug. I touch it on it and perfectly clear. I changed power supplies. I changed cameras. Nothing fixed it. So I went and I took that wire and I put an alligator clip at the end of it and I just clip it on the thing and everything is fine.
Well, and in a home use environment, stuff like that it can stay permanent and be permanent, and you don't have to worry about it.
You see, that's what I'm wondering. Instead of taping it in there, why
Well,
couldn't you
even-
screw it to the case?
That didn't help.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little weird on how I got it to work. But again,
Interesting.
this
Okay.
this will all be changing the next 2 or 3 weeks, so it's not.
And,
There's not a
The point in the picture is that it's the shield wire, the drain wire on the audio cable that's
Mhm.
connected to the metal connector. That's the connection. So what you do is you find out what connection that's making, and then you do it permanently.
What is that plug part of?
it's part of the output loop.
So it is
Surprisingly.
connected to something. What are those
is.
two? What are those two wires, the black and
Oh,
the red?
Oh, those two wires Those two wires were just a stripped back
Okay.
cable.
Okay.
Those weren't connected to anything.
Okay.
They were just hanging there at the other end of it.
Good job. Good job, Nick.
I won't say good job. It was
Great.
interesting.
Great job. You
I wouldn't
fixed
say that either. But
you fixed the problem you were thinking.
well, I needed Mike's help. Mike helped me out, so I appreciate his help with it as well. Probably called him a dozen times.
So going back to apps and control and stuff like that, Apple has removed Facebook's Onavo security app from the App Store because it violates the company's privacy rules. In a statement to CNBC, an Apple spokesperson said, "We work hard to protect user privacy and data security throughout the Apple ecosystem.
Oh yeah.
With the latest update to our guidelines, we made it explicitly clear that apps should not collect information about which other apps are installed on a user's device for the purposes of analytics or advertising marketing and must make it clear what user data will be collected and how it will be used." So apparently, Facebook was looking at what else is on that phone and collecting that information, and Apple didn't like that. Somebody must have complained.
Why
In
would
a
Facebook do
way,
something?
it's okay. It's fine. I mean, yeah, don't you have no business knowing what else I'm running on my phone.
Facebook deserves to know everything. What are you talking about?
They do.
Deserves to know everything.
No. Only Apple is allowed.
That's true. Yeah, only Apple. Only Apple and Google are actually allowed. Nobody else is. Thanks for keeping me in line there. That's a very good
Come
point.
on. Yeah.
What am I? What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Okay, those of you out there who went out to work and didn't go to school, the economy continues to be a friendly place for job seekers today. And not just for the ultra educated. Economists are predicting ever improving prospects for workers without a degree as well. It says recently, job search site Glassdoor compiled a list of 15 top employers that have said they no longer require applicants to have a college degree. Companies like Google, Apple, IBM, and EY are all in this group. In 2017, IBM Vice President of Talent Joanna Daly told that told ABC that about 15% of her company's U.S. hires don't have a 4-year degree. She said that instead of looking exclusively at candidates who went to college, IBM now is looking at candidates who have hands-on experience via a coding boot camp or an industry-related vocational class. So the reason why this caught my eye is because I don't know how many of you saw an interview that Marilyn did on her show with a Canadian producer, director, writer, Jack Cooper in Canada. Jack Cooper he's the reason why I'm sitting here now. Jack Cooper, we met in Israel, and I was hitchhiking while I was in the military, just leaving, just thinking about, okay, I'm going to finish with the military. And I always wanted to go into television. And we started talking. In Israel, it's a big thing. That's how soldiers get around. You hitchhike.
Used to.
And what? Used
Used
to?
to.
Okay, I don't know. And we started talking, and he spoke English, and I spoke English. And I said I wanted to get into television. He said, "Boy, did you fall into the right car?" I said, "Why?" He said, "That's what I do." And we became like family, his family and my family. and I was supposed to go to Canada, actually, to go to Ryerson University to get into, because he could get me in there, but things did not work right. The economy wasn't right there at the time. So I ended up coming here because I already made up my mind. I'm leaving. I'm going to the Western Hemisphere, whether it was Canada or the United States, and I ended up coming here. But Jack, back then, told me something that I never forgot. He said, when I hire somebody, and he has his own production company, said, I don't look at what papers, certificates they have. I go by my gut feeling. I want to know that that person can do the job that I need them to do. So a certificate, whether you went to university or not, doesn't mean anything to me. If you can do the work and if you have the talent to do it, it's more important. I will teach you how to do it right instead of hiring somebody who has a certificate who will come in and fight me every step of the way because, we know because we went to school. This article here I saw it and I said, wow, that's Jack all over. So it's interesting, though.
I have the same approach, but it's said a little different way.
Yeah.
And that is that I hire based on attitude. You have to have some aptitude and interest in the area, but if you got the right attitude, I can teach you anything you need to know.
And
If
I'm not saying that going to college is not important.
I understand,
yeah.
but that's backing up what I am saying is that you can have all the education in the world with a bad attitude and your butt's out the door.
Right. It's true. It's true.
I think I may have mentioned it one time here, but I was talking with Zig Ziglar. I went to a meeting and it was a small side meeting and apparently wasn't publicized very well because I was there early waiting for him to get there. He came in early, so we sat around shooting the breeze for about 15 minutes before the room came in. Then there were only about 20 people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I said, and I'll never forget it. And I asked him, I said, because I was having a problem at the time, and it was a guy who was competent, could do the work. I was very happy with what he did, but he was just so negative all the time. And I asked him, I said, can you fire a guy just for having a bad attitude? And he said, well, that's the only reason you'd fire him.
Because of attitude, not because they didn't do the job right.
Yeah, because if they got the right attitude, you'll teach them to do the
Yeah.
job.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, same thing.
And I've sort of lived by that.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Mike, are you verified on Twitter?
Who do you think I am?
Anybody here is verified on Twitter?
No.
Well, listen to that.
In fact, I don't even follow anyone who's verified.
Listen to that. Facebook has begun to assign its user a reputation score, predicting their trustworthiness on a scale from 0 to 1. It says Facebook hasn't been shy about rating the trustworthiness of news outlets, but it's now applying that thinking to users as well. The company's Tessa Lyon has revealed to the Washington Post that it's starting to assign users' reputation scores on a 0 to 1 scale. The system is meant to help Facebook's fight against fake news by flagging people who routinely make false claims against news outlets. Whether it's due to an ideological disagreement or personal grudge, it isn't the only way Facebook gauges credibility. According to them, it's just one of thousands of behavior markers worth Facebook. Anyway, so if you're continuously doing that, then you get a bad reputation. So you get a bad reputation and you set up a new account and you continue doing well until you get bad reputation again. And you get,
how about just telling them to go suck a bone?
How about just leave Facebook? Sounds like if you don't like Facebook and you're only complaining, leave it.
Yeah, leave. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But then nobody's listening to you. Or so you think.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Well, Alexa will always listen.
Yep. Gosh, what did I do?
You're asking us?
Something. No, wait a second. I'm trying to see how it's. Oh, Kathy told me one morning. She said, I can no longer connect to the router with her phone to the router, the Ingenious. So I'm going there. I'm taking her phone and I connect to Wi-Fi, and I say, go ahead and connect. It connects. It gets an IP, and 2 seconds later, it says connection failure. So I went to my phone. Everything is fine. I went to her iPad. Everything is fine. I rebooted this, rebooted that, took the battery out. Nothing. It cannot connect. Killed the account. Set it at the network. Set it up again. Nothing. I said, all right, well, it's time to change. So I had the TP-Link router that I was using before I went to the ASUS, and I said, I'm going to use it as an access point. So I went and read how to make it an access point only and put it up. Everything works great. She can connect and all nice. I sit there and I said, Alexa, and I'm looking at Alexa and it's got a yellow ring turning there. I say, oh, what's this? So I went and read. It said there's no internet. You don't do these things all the time. So you figured, okay, I mean, it's the same IP address. The only thing that changed there was the SSID. But I guess they do go by the SSID. So
Well,
I had
yeah,
to,
the SSID is the
I had to figure out how to set up Alexa again, and then found out that they hook the little thing for the lights that turn the lights off and on. How to do away with the wireless on it and retrained it for the new one, and it was an ordeal. I spent a few hours just on that. I'm saying only because I changed routers. So I'm wondering if I changed the SSID to the same one, if everything would have kept on working, even though there's a different piece of hardware there. I don't know.
So it might, but it might not. The reason it might not is apart from the SSID, there's a MAC address.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a MAC
Right.
address too. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
so let's say you keep the SSID and the password the same, the MAC address might change.
Yeah.
Will
True.
probably change. And but this is depending on the implementation on the side of the connection. So some would fail just to protect you from a man in the middle. Okay, so so you wouldn't be able to be hijacked. So the connection would fail, and you'll need to forget the connection and then re-establish the connection from scratch.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I didn't think about the MAC address. That's true. That's what they actually go by mainly, to know that it's there. Yeah. Yep. 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 Anyway, it was and again, you don't do these things. You do it once and you forget it. That's it.
I've got a a quick note here.
Yeah.
Do not purchase any Razer mice products. They are absolute garbage.
Razer?
Razer, R-A-Z-E-R. They make a line of gaming products.
Okay.
And I was warned initially when I bought my Razer Naga mouse in 2016 that it won't last more than 2 years. And without a doubt, the sensor on it is dying and the mouse is practically unusable. So
that's the
not
one
buy
that you were having a lot of problems with. that mouse that you were having some problems with your mouse that it didn't do certain things, and you would unplug it and plug it, and it'll start working.
Within the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was working, and now for the last couple days, it's like when I move the mouse up and down on my mouse pad, it just goes side to side. I can't put it in a circle. It's just it's a joke. And this mouse was freaking $90 when I bought it, and it's less than 2 years old.
Oh, that's nothing.
And that just really pisses me off. So don't buy any Razer Naga or Naga Hex mice.
So what are you going to get now?
A Logitech G600. I just ordered one.
And it's less than 90, right?
It's 52.
Yeah, well,
But see, the reason I like this mouse, not that I like this mouse, I like this style of mouse is it's got 12 programmable keys on the side of it, which is useful for I use 1, 2, and 3 for copy, Control C, Control V, enter, so I can copy things quickly. When I do my podcast, I use this to do my video switching because it's 12 keys. So yeah, that's it's unfortunate, but I had to order a new one. So
yeah, it's a shame when something like this that you buying it and you say, I've got a piece of hardware and I'm going to keep using it. And
well, the thing that's a problem is
That's
I
a
was
shame.
warned, not warned, but Razer is Razer is known for. I should contact them. Maybe they'll give me a new one. I doubt it, but
they're known for what?
they're these mice are known for having issues, and you've got to be careful when you're buying things on Amazon and talking to people, because people only write comments and leave reviews when they have an issue. I mean, that's no surprise to anybody.
True.
So you see stuff like that and you go, oh, it's not me. Well, turns out it's me. So now I gotta figure out what to do.
Well, so now you're going to get a new one, and
Yep.
and maybe you still get a newer one. Maybe they'll replace this one. Maybe.
Yeah, I'll flip it on eBay. Just to spite them. And by the way, Amazon's 2-day shipping is no longer 2 day. It took 4 days to get something the other day that was Amazon
Yeah,
Prime.
forget the 2 days.
So
Well, 2 days the shipping.
yes, after it takes them 2 days to process an in-stock order. That's great.
Well, the thing that gets me is shipping and handling. What the hell I want to pay them to handle it for? I just want to leave it alone and ship it.
According to this, I can have this on Tuesday.
That's what I want to be, one of these people. I can go in and just sit there and handle these products and then ship them. I can charge for it.
But then again,
You're a
there's
product
the
handler, Mike? You're a package handler?
Yeah.
You handle people's packages? That's good.
Yeah, just hand them to me, and I sit there and I'll rub the top and rub the side and then throw it over the fence like they do.
It's good. Good for
In
you.
the UK, Amazon has got into trouble with the Advertising Standards Authority because of their one day delivery or next day delivery. It looks like they're going to have to stop advertising it because they don't fulfill it.
That's BS.
Yeah.
You should see me trying to click the change button right now on Amazon to change my shipping address. I can't get to the pixel that says change. I'm going above and below it. I've been trying to check out here for 2.5 minutes.
there is a keyboard. You have
Yeah.
you have the cursor keys. You have
Nope,
a tab.
I refuse. I'm using this mouse till Tuesday. I've got another game.
And Nick, I don't believe that you don't have another mouse in the house either.
I do. I have another gaming mouse.
Yeah.
It's sitting right back here on the floor, plugged into my other computer.
That and those in the walls, right?
Yeah. No, fortunately, none of those in the walls.
I've become convinced that Amazon's problem is they've gotten too big. They just can't handle the amount of business that they have. And I don't want to sound like I'm defending them, because I'm not. They have not been forthcoming in their disclosure to their regular customers with regard to the Prime shipments. And obviously what they're doing is that they've said everything in 2 days if it's Prime. If it's Prime, there's a problem. And then they really probably lose their butt getting it there on time. And so what they've started doing is playing with the time of day that you have to order it, which is probably reasonable, I guess. But they just can't handle it all. They just cannot. They are so big, they can't handle the business. I got a little story about a router that's interesting, in Time Warner or whatever their name is this week, Speculum or whatever it is. My daughter and son-in-law moved into a new house over in Garner, They had the internet service at their old house and their new house. They sort of ordered the same service, but they got them to upgrade to 400 megabit download. I think it's still like 2 megabit upload, but it's 400 megabit download. They installed it, and she works from home some, so she was trying to work, and she says that her Netflix was buffering at night and that she was having trouble staying connected to her office. She did a speed test and she was getting 1 megabit down and like 1.5 megabits up, and it was flexing. So 2 days later, they send someone out, and she says, she sends me a text message. She says, the Time Warner guy is here. Why is our 5G not working? And I said, it's turned off. And I said, you don't need it. And she said, well, he says we do.
Huh?
Yeah. And I said, well, he's wrong. I said, however, if you want to turn it on, go ahead. It doesn't hurt anything. The reason it's turned off is because he uses an iPad. And if you have 2G and 5G turned on with the same SSID, the iPads seem to struggle connecting between 2G and 5G. And in fact, my wife's iPad is struggling staying connected to 2G because my 5G is turned off all over the house. It's not necessary in most.
That's why your internet's so slow at your house. The 5G's turned off.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I give them separate SSIDs because of that. Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
yeah, that's what I'd recommend if you need them. And so hers are turned on.
So
Anyway, we ordered a new router because and then the guy told her, said, this router is not fast enough. It's not going to support the front 400 megabit speed. Okay, maybe so. So I mean, I give them the router. So I ordered a new Asus router, had it sent over there. They were supposed to deliver it by 9 o'clock. At 9:15, this guy bangs on the door, and my son-in-law goes to the door with a machete in his hand. And but anyway, they got it there. My daughter chewed me out for not letting them know it was coming. And I said, well, I can certainly stop doing that in the future. And so anyway, I went over there and I was working on something else on our plumbing, and the router was there, so I plugged it in. I figured I'm going to have to go. She wasn't there at the time. I figured I was going to have to go through hell and high water to get Speculum to switch it over to the new MAC address and authenticate it. Well,
are you
didn't have
talking modem or router?
Router.
Okay,
Router.
go ahead. Go ahead.
And you're right. Originally, it didn't matter. Then it did matter. Now, apparently, it doesn't matter again. So I was able to connect to it with my phone, of all things, because I didn't have a computer with me. And I connected to it, and the darn thing's online and working. So it was pretty seamless to set it up.
And the speed was fine?
I downloaded. Of course, all I had to check on was my phone, and I was getting over 100 download on my phone.
Huh?
Then a couple of days later, I asked her to solve your problem. She says, I think so. I think so. You did or it didn't.
Yeah.
Are you able to connect? And I don't know. So we'll see. But anyway, the point I was getting to is I picked up the old router, and it's a TP-Link AC 1700. To say that a AC 1700 router will not go to 400 megabits is just outright stupid.
Yeah.
You mean it's an outright lie?
No, it's stupid. I don't believe
it's stupid. They don't know. They don't.
There's no way. Come on, you're telling me this Time Warner tech didn't know? Give me a come on. I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, come on, look at that router that Mike's holding up.
So here it is. You look at this router. You're trying to tell me this router will not go to 400 megabit down. Now the router may in fact be
which one
bad,
is
but
that?
We'll see.
You know what? It might not, but it will go to 100 megabits. She got one.
I mean, with all these 3 antennas, it ought to go to at least 300.
Now that's a good point, Gal. No, Gal is right. Yeah.
No, they're very well. There's nothing wrong with the router.
Yeah.
This is a 1750.
What is this? It is an AC 1750. Yes.
Yeah, that's the one that I had that I replaced with the. No, actually, that's the one I'm using now, and it's doing like over 300.
Capable of 450 megabits via 2.4 and 1300 on 5 gigahertz.
I'm not talking wireless. I'm talking hardwired.
Well, I'm talking wireless. If it's capable of doing 1300 megabits via 5G, so it should be good to go for 100 megabits. That's a new router. That is still a new router. Anything with an AC standard can do 300 megabits. I refuse to believe anything else.
It's
no
they
way.
don't know, and they find a reason. There was something probably if you reset this one.
That's a good router, Mike. Don't toss that thing.
No, that's a great router.
Well, I got to find out if there's a problem with it. I'll have to
Just
factory
reset it.
yeah.
Absolutely. Just do a factory reset. You see, it's going to do everything. Somebody changed something.
Worst case scenario, to make a good little net switch for.
No, I'll tell you that they had a problem. He worked on it over 2 hours.
On the router?
No, on their service, and he got something going. He got them up to about 10 megabit. So,
yeah.
Might just need a firmware update or something.
Mike, didn't you see the video where they take the plastic bottles and put it on top of the antenna with tape around it, 2 rings? I should.
No, I missed that.
Yeah, there's 2.
Oh yes, Thigh Joe. Great video.
Spence sent it to me, and Spence thought it was for real. And then when I showed it to Nick, he said, don't you know what that is? I said, no. He said, this guy is just, it's a hoax.
Yeah, he does these videos where he how to get free cable TV.
Yeah.
Put CD discs, put CDs around the coax coming into your house and amplifies the signal. And he does a really good job with his video.
I mean, he's
a hell of a video guy.
So yeah. Anyway, all right. It's that time of day again.
Well, it looks like Best Buy has this mouse in stock. I might be able to go over to Best Buy and have them price match Amazon. This might be good.
I thought you already ordered it.
I did, but I can cancel my order.
Oh. Yeah, you can also always cancel it and then reorder it if they won't. But they will. You know they will.
Absolutely.
They have it on sale for more than what Amazon has it listed?
No, I'm just yes.
Wow.
That's very common.
You would think that they have, since they're trying to compete with
They're not.
Amazon, you would think that they would have people looking.
They're not. They say they're trying to compete, then they need to have their website they need to have their website mimicking what Amazon's price is if they're trying to compete with Amazon. Which they shouldn't. That's stupid for them to try to compete with Amazon. In that respect.
I don't know.
MSRP is $80. It's $52 on Amazon.
And on
I looked at it's actually they have it's not in stock, it's online.
Oh.
Check Walmart though. Maybe Walmart's got it.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to add before we conclude our broadcast?
Same price on Walmart, surprisingly enough. They're pricing Amazon out completely. Penny for penny. Oh, I will not be here next week.
You're going to be at
Yes, sir.
PAX.
I will be in Seattle, heading out to the Penny Arcade Expo gaming event with our good friend Brian Aldridge, our friend Sean Callahan, and another one of my buddies online. So I will not be here next Sunday, but I will send my warmest regards. You know what I'll do? And I got a great idea. I'm gonna make a little video package.
Yeah.
And I'll send it. I'll file a report, and then you can play it on the show. I'll do a report from the Diversity Lounge inside of PAX West 2018.
I thought you were going to go and do live reports from.
We're gonna do some stuff, but I'm gonna make a little tribute to the computers. I'm gonna find some real cool pieces of. I'm gonna find something that is relevant to our audience at PAX East to do a video.
Nick is gonna go around. He's gonna find a computer that's running XP on it, and he's gonna take a video of it.
Here at the PAX show. This is a computer running Windows XP. It's my friend Amnon's computer.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. I'll find something. I'll file a report.
All right.
So.
And are you doing your show tonight?
Yes, we'll be live tonight. Lots of stuff to talk about.
Lots of stuff. Absolutely lots of stuff. Okay, guys. Anybody else has any last words? Going once? Going twice? Nope. All right. So thanks, Steve, Nick, Mike, Gal.
Thank you.
It was great. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Dana. Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And while you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight at 7, Nick Craig hosts Against the Norm on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM. And anybody anywhere in the world can listen on TuneIn. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.